Hey, what's good, listeners? Welcome to the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. Good morning, Marissa. How's it going, fam?
Fabulously amazing.
As always, right?
As
I mean, we are beyond
always.
stoked because we got such a great show. But before we even announce the guest lineup, I have to say, we
Yeah.
made it to double digits, fam. We're on
Woo!
season 10, aka that is 3 years of talk radio for the Chris Collins Show for Marissa and I. And we cannot thank our CCS family enough for supporting us for this long for the ride because obviously you guys understand the mission. There's too many talking heads in the media trying to speak for us as if we're a piece of recycled news, and we're trying to break the mold. And what better way to kick off season 10 with this kick-ass lineup? So
That
our
is so
guest,
true.
right? I mean, our guest on Just Talking is actor William Moseley to discuss his brand new film, Saving Paradise. And you might also recognize him. He's like obviously, a fan favorite with millennials. He was also Peter in the Chronicles of Narnia. So
Okay,
we might pick his
I'm
brain.
gonna say it now in case he's not listening. I had the biggest crush on him when I was a little older when those films came out. But I was like, I grew up reading Narnia, and I had the biggest crush on him as Peter.
I think a lot of
I
millennial
wanted
girls
Peter.
had the same thing. Probably over Daniel Radcliffe, right? I mean, they were going neck and neck with each other for years. But also, we cannot forget our Strike a Chord guest, Lili Joy, is returning to the show since she has been on the time with The Voice. I don't know if you guys checked out that show on NBC, and now she's turned 18 years old, and we're going to be catching up with her. Also, I want everybody to know to not forget about our brand new podcast series. It's called Off the Fret, featuring the Blowies as our inaugural guest. More music talk. But all right, Marissa, it's time to rock and roll.
Hold on, I wasn't ready.
Hey, it's all good. It's the season.
What happens?
But
What
hey, let's let it
happens when
roll,
you have a
fam.
hiatus? Here we are.
All right, this is hashtag TLDR, too long don't read. Marissa and I, we did all the reading for you, so you didn't have to do it. An article from CNN titled, My Youth is a Strength. Members of Gen Z launch campaigns for Congress by Rachel Janfaza. For the first time in 2022, members of Generation Z, those born after 1996, could be elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, while Maxwell Frost, a Florida Democrat, and Caroline Leavitt, a New Hampshire Republican, stand on opposite sides of the political spectrum. The two share a common belief that it's time to elect more young people into office. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, just think about some of the old hags in Congress, such as Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell, to name a few. I mean, they were born before the discovery of the polio vaccine and bikini thongs, for which I know, and I'm sure Marissa knows too, okay? And with the midterm elections on the horizon, both Frost and Leavitt are ramping up their campaigns to be the first members of Gen Z in Congress. And I'm sure as hell supporting these candidates 110%. You know why? There must be a generational shift in Congress if the youth truly wants to see change in affordable housing, student loan debt, climate change, healthcare, criminal justice reform, to name a few. And I know many of the lawmakers today in Congress must now grapple with questions about net neutrality, cyber warfare, and how to regulate Facebook. And what they do, they really know about these issues. I mean, think about it. I mean, most of them are approaching the retirement age when social media was invented, okay? I mean, love them or hate them, baby boomers, they're coming for your seats.
Oh. Delayed reaction.
I know, right? You're thinking
All
about
right.
those bikini thongs, that's why.
Oh, I still wear them. Hey. Okay. But look, from TikTok rolling out features to help teens' mental health, Instagram coming under fire with lawmakers, and Facebook documenting how toxic they are to teens. Suicide Prevention Week wrapped up with a flurry of articles addressing teens' mental health, and social media has a direct correlation with their well-being. I mean, are any of us shocked by these findings? No. Because I know I sound like a broken record, as this is not the first time that we have addressed these issues on the CCS show. But can we stop making Zuckerberg the parental police for the youth? Okay, look, this guy started Facebook so he could get laid for more single girls in college, period. And the key word there is college. Huh? So instead of giving more control to government agencies and private corporations on how we should be raised, like our kids should be raised, how about parents step up and take responsibility for their children? Period.
Yeah,
All right. I mean,
right.
because Chris, look, if you had a kid and you were worried about their teenager's self-image issues, wouldn't you put the computer in the living room and maybe, I don't know, not buy them a smartphone?
Well, it's not even so much that. I mean, why do we even need a Wall Street Journal report to tell us that 1 in 3 girls, teenage girls, actually have a suicidal or anxiety or depression when it comes to Instagram? I mean, every single time I go on to Instagram, it's always, do you want to see a white girl twerk? I mean, am I the only guy out there that constantly sees a booty shaking ass on Instagram?
And
I mean, it's like
And white girls can't
of
twerk.
OnlyFans.
As a white girl, we can't twerk, no matter
Well,
how
I don't
much
know if
we
I would
want to.
shame everybody.
Oh,
I mean,
I'm
there's some white
shaming.
girls
I'm
with some-
shaming white girl booties. I
No,
am
but just
shaming
think
white
about
girl
it. I mean,
booties.
it's so crazy to think that even TikTok was so fearful because it was Suicide Prevention Week last week. So TikTok thought that they were going to be coming after next. And so what do? They put a little button right under every social media post telling them, hey, just click this link. You know, this is a suicide text message line. Do you really think millennials and Gen Z are using it? I have a hard time believing
Actually,
that.
no, there is study that with it being presented there at the moment of possibly committing suicide or having that way, that it can change lives and actually save lives. But all they did it for wasn't for the teens, is to get them off the legal hook of a parent suing them or the government coming after them. But here's at the end of the day, it is my responsibility as a parent what influence my kids are around. That means who they're hanging out with, what schools they are in, the social apps that I am giving them access to. Sorry, Lilac, you ain't getting a smartphone, okay? You're saying it right
No
now.
yik
Go get a
yak
job.
anytime soon.
But look, Zaddy Zuckerberg is not responsible for your shitty parenting.
Amen on that one. In an article from USA Today titled, Powerful or Hypocritical? AOC's Tax the Rich dress at Met Gala draws mixed reactions by Charles Trapani. So the Democratic Congresswoman from New York attended Monday's gala, one of the biggest fashion events of the year, in a white dress that bears the message, tax the rich, written in red on the backside. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's look drew mixed reactions on Twitter, with some praising the statement and others calling it hypocritical. And before we debate AOC's dress, can we share a meme that our kick-ass art director, Jody Mahler, created for me? I mean, doesn't this look like a Chick-fil-A bag? I mean, I can't lie to my listening audience. When I saw AOC's dress, it instantly pissed me off. I mean, let's tax the rich, but first, I'm going to have the time of my life partying with the 1% at the most glamorous, over-the-top party of the year. That is essentially a celebration of the richness. I will remain unmasked, and while servants are required to wear masks at all times, will carry my dress from behind. I mean, honestly, what in the world is AOC thinking? I mean, tax the rich? More like the chick that got filleted. I mean, what is your thoughts on all this, Marissa?
Look, we all know, and it's not debate, she didn't pay the $30,000 to go. She didn't, she didn't buy the dress. The dress was a designer who, she's an up and coming woman of color who's out there getting her name, all supportive of it. But at the end of the day, what is she actually doing about writing the laws? I personally, look, she's in her 20s. She's rubbing elbows with the people that she admired, that she looked up to. Let's just call it what it is. She wanted to go. Period.
She wanted to go.
She wanted to go. Otherwise, she could have hung out outside and had her little tent, get a whole group of people, AOC posse, and do it.
I don't know if I would go that far. But I mean, the fact that she said she was doing it for the cultural institution, like how you said she wants to support all the black people of color, support those fashion. You know what? No doubt. I mean, I think that's an amazing thing, but you're absolutely correct. We control all 3 branches of government, and you would think by now we would actually have some kind of law or, that infrastructure bill that's starting to get in place. You would think that maybe something would go in there, but I guess that's for another time. But if Representative Ocasio-Cortez's goal was to get people talking, she certainly accomplished it. But after all, how often does middle American even pay attention to the Met Gala to begin with? I mean, we'll just have to wait and see whether AOC walks the walk or talks the talk. What's good, listeners? Our guest joining us on Just Talking is actor William Moseley to discuss his latest film, Saving Paradise, live on the Chris College Show, Millennial Talk Show, as he joins us from across the pond. Here's the man, the myth, the legend himself, William Moseley. How you doing, fam?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, Marissa.
Hi, William. Great to finally talk to you. I've been talking to your team via email. They are fabulous. You got a great team behind you.
And all I can say, William, is before we begin, let's show our CCS family what's good.
Wait, you're so fast. You always
you don't want to go into it? I am. So excited.
Okay, William, by the way, so Zoom is horrible, and I have to like pull things up.
Oh,
and every show, I ask him, give me a 10-second breather.
Okay,
and what does he do? He gives me 5.
Okay.
I'm ready now. I'm ready.
Right.
Okay, Marissa's ready. Let's roll the clip, fam. This is Saving Paradise.
A 2-month leave of absence? And at such a critical time?
I'm sorry, Cameron, but I have no choice.
Pencils, right?
It's a family business for over 100 years.
Just hire a broker and sell it.
It's a little more complicated than that.
Good morning, Mr. Peterson. 14 billion pencils were produced throughout the world last year, 2 billion in the United States of America. Peterson made about 1 billion of those.
90-day notice. Bank's not renewing our loan.
90 days? We don't have $10 million.
We don't have $10,000. Hey, Mikey.
Charlie, it's been a while.
The days of you and him have long since passed.
Thank you. We'll be in touch.
Look, we're all working our asses off down there in the dark, Charlie. You're either with us or with him.
Michael, don't go soft on me. You're up for partner.
That's right. That's William Moseley. He is the star in Saving Paradise. And I got to say, I mean, look at you now compared to that film. I mean, you got the whole slick back hair and now the transition to like Ed Sheeran. I mean, what is going on? I mean, what are you in the works right now?
You know, I'm an actor, so I make a lot of changes very quickly.
I mean, luckily you're able to pull off the looks that you are able to do, my man. I mean, you look styling and profiling all the way. But William, let's get right on into it because your role in Saving Paradise is playing a character named Michael, a ruthless corporate raider forced to return to his small town roots where he suddenly inherits his father's nearly bankrupt pencil factory. So what made you want to be a part of this film?
You know, it sounds really weird, but I don't know in America if you study English literature or, you know, what we would call
Shakespeare. That's
no,
it.
That would be it. Exactly.
That would be it.
Or not to be.
That is the question. Wah, wah, wah.
But we studied in the UK. We studied a lot of American literature,
as it should be.
As it should be. And we studied, I remember we studied J.D. Salinger. We studied Steinbeck. We in school did a bit of Tennessee Williams.
Nice. I like that.
And I remember reading Mice and Men, which is kind of a classic American story. And I remember it all being about guys trying to like make it happen for themselves and coming up against these hurdles, you know, and they're kind of like tough guys that have had like a tough life and they have families and they're trying to get through and they've got this kind of pioneer American spirit. And I love the story, you know, and I realized a lot of Steinbeck's stories were like that. And so when I read Saving Paradise, to me, it reminded me of one of those old Steinbeck stories, you know, it had that kind of like meditation in it. So instantly I was like, you know, I got to do it. I got to come out to California, shoot a movie about the South.
That is so interesting.
See, that's funny you say that. Another reason, fast, Chris, is in the movie it says that, you know, lead pencils come from England and like a little tiny sheep town. And that's why I thought you did this, because you were like, I'm going to represent England. We marked our sheeps with that, with the lead.
Well, that is a funny point that you're bringing up, Marissa, because it's like you are from the United Kingdom. I mean, how did Saving Paradise resonate with you? Because overall, the film is geared towards the American dream and middle-class American workers. I mean, are you seeing some of those same experiences in the United Kingdom today with like gutted factories and gutted towns?
I know, isn't that such a horrible thought? You know, I don't know much about really what's going on with the factories here, but I know we have no car industry.
It's because you've been in lockdown.
I've been in lockdown, but I know we have no car industry anymore. I know that every British car company has been bought up by a conglomerate. So there's no British car company. I mean, I was trying to think about what we actually export in this country, and it's pretty much nothing. I mean, I think, you know, what we have here is the financial district, which is where like all the money goes through. So I guess that must be like keeping us afloat. But in terms of the, you know, Saving Paradise, you know, I was a little nervous to take on such an American story. I was like, well, what if I just don't pull it off? What if like I come across really British or I just don't get the mentality?
You did good accent work. It was good.
I was nervous though. I was really freaked out because I haven't really done like a full movie like that. So I kind of scared a lot of people on set, and I just stayed in the American accent the whole time, in case I like lost.
And you know, honestly, as an actor, you have to. Because it's so easy for us to fall back into our natural speech patterns and where we hold our tongue and where all the words are when we get into the moment and we're like heated. And here it is, like our natural habituals kick in. So you have to be that weirdo that just talks like an American.
And I mean, people must have thought I was insane. They kept asking me, so where in America are you from? I was like, oh, I'm not from America, from England. What?
I know
you imposter.
It's when you got the hair a little bit nonchalant, then I can go, okay, he's maybe from England. But once you get the slick back look, now you're from middle America. But you know what? There was a particular line in the film that resonated with me, that stood out. It was actress Mimi Kennedy playing Barbara Peterson, and she says to your character, Michael, I know that your father wasn't a good businessman and that his heart was bigger than his wallet, but at least he had a heart. And the reason why I bring this up is you guys are right now are just talking about the actor and actress lifestyle. And do you carry that same mindset in your cinematic career for as long as you've been in the game, or is it a bit different?
What a great question. You know, you have to make a living. You have to pay your rent. I mean, you can't be stupid. You know, you can't be like, oh, great, I just got a TV show. I'll go buy a Ferrari, you know, and then like, you know, 2 weeks later you wreck the thing and you've got no money left. Of course, you have to be. Well,
it's like what, gosh, I think Shaquille O'Neal said it. I mean, only buy the car if you can buy two of them. Oh, no, that was Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch said that.
No, Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah, I remember him talking about it. And that was a very cool thing. He's talking about like, he bought himself a $100,000 Mercedes. Then he came home and his dad was like, I want one of those. So he went and got another one. Then he came home with the second one. And then I think his mum wanted one. So he ended up buying three. And then he paid $1 million. And now he didn't have any money left. And he was like,
yeah, and his financial advisor
That's
was
like MC,
yo, bro.
MC Hammer back in the day. That's what happened to him. He had the gilded MC Hammer on his stuff, and he bought his family, his friends, his entourage, and now he broke.
But I mean, think about it. I mean, you know,
he's broke. He's broke. He's broke. He's broke. They did not bring back the MC Hammer pants. That thing died in the 80s.
but William, I mean, it would be sacrilegious for me not to mention that you will forever be known as a fan favorite child actor amongst millennials, holding the throne down in the Chronicles of Narnia as Peter. And as a child actor, did you get that financial advice at an early age? I mean, where was that support?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, I really had no money growing up. So I used to, like, my dad used to give me £10 at the weekend, which is like $12, to like go out and like buy some drinks. Because when you're 16, you can go to the pub. And so I used to like, well, I'm 18, but we used to go at 16. You know, and I used to only buy myself one drink and save the rest, you know, and every weekend I just save the rest. And so when I got to making the Narnia movies, I was pretty good. Like, I was pretty smart. Like, I didn't buy anything extravagant. In fact, I bought this really busted up, beaten old car as my second car. And my driving instructor drove past one day and he saw me and he goes, "Can't you afford something better than that?" He's like, "What are you doing
Yeah,
that
right.
car?"
He goes, "That's how much they're ripping you
That's
off at the
crazy.
Hollywood studios."
That's
So
why you-
you're a penny pincher. Ladies, listen, William Moseley is a penny pincher. He's not going to buy you that Ferrari, okay?
I mean, but just think about it. I mean, you were going neck and neck for years with Daniel Radcliffe in the Harry Potter series. And like, how did you become a child actor? Was it like, I know like when I hear about child actors, they're like sometimes forced by their family. It's like the one mom and one dad that was like, he was so beautiful at such a young age. We just knew he was perfect for the screen. I mean, how did you step into those roles? I mean, were you just that ambitious at a young age?
You know, I wasn't good at much, but I was good at acting. I was good
Oh,
at
stop it.
no, I'm really
Yes.
serious.
No, I get
was
it.
at the bottom of my class for pretty much everything. I was okay at English, but I was pretty much like in the bottom set for everything else. And acting I liked. I loved it, and I knew I was going to be an actor. But it was also something that people said to me, "Oh, you're actually good at this." You know, and people were like, "Actually, you're really good. Like, you could maybe do this." And so I thought, well, if I can do it, great. I'll just go. And I started going to auditions from an open casting. And that very first open casting, the casting director remembered me for the Narnia movies, asked me to audition for the Narnia films. And it didn't happen overnight. It took a year and a half to get the part of Peter. Of auditioning. So he went through like thousands of kids. But what I was lucky with was that I was the right person at the right time in the right time period.
Yes.
You know?
Right.
Like, you know, they could have made that movie now for like a 16, 17-year-old kid who's playing 14, and they'd have gone around all the schools and that would have just worked out for him. But I was fortunate that I was there and like I could show up and I could get the auditions and my parents would help me read the lines.
But you also had preparation. So what I have on the back of my business card is luck happens when opportunity meets preparation. That's philosopher Seneca, still valued today, because you could be in the right place at the right time. But if you haven't been preparing yourself and getting ready for it, then you wouldn't have been lucky. You would have just been passed over like, oh, good looking kid. I hope he gets his stuff together.
That's a great point, Marissa. And that just made me kind of think right now, like, how did you prepare yourself for after the success of the Chronicles of Narnia? Because I'm sure that starts to play a mental game. I know it kind of happened a little bit with Daniel Radcliffe. Did you kind of find that kind of same experience? I know you're like killing it right now with some of the films we'll be talking later, but like, did you feel any of that? You know,
Well, okay. This sounds crazy, and I really hope nobody ever takes this piece of advice that I'm about to give that I gave myself. But I said in my mind, I mean, two things happened. Number one was I was like, well, I want it to be hard for myself because I want to feel like I've earned my way to this next thing. Like I don't just become like a firework that like goes up, pops full of light and things, and then it's gone, and it's like everyone's like, okay, well that was that, you know, like. I wanted it to be tough so I could earn my way there, so I could have the tools, the skills, so I knew that I could respect myself when I came up against other great actors. You know, I'd be like, well, I've done it as well. Like, I've worked hard. Like, I have had a tough time. You don't want it to be tough, but I wanted it to, like, I wanted to go through it. You know, I was a cross-country runner as a kid, so I knew that you need stamina to get through things. And then in the other thing that really happened to me was I went through one winter in London basically on my own, and I just thought, I'm never doing this again. And so I booked a flight to California. I knew one guy there. I ended up living with him in the Hollywood Hills, and he had this amazing house, and he just was like, yeah, rock up, it's fine. And we ended up living for 4 years together, and it was great.
Okay, I'm dying laughing because my ex is English. And I went to go visit, and I went in a winter. I went summertime first, and I was like, I love England. So, oh my God, it's so beautiful. La, 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 the accent. I went in a winter, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Right.
I'm good.
3 hours of light. 3 hours of light. I was like, I can't do this.
But, you know, as I kind of brought up the Chronicles of Narnia, I kind of want to bring in some pop culture news. I mean, it's been fluttering around for like the last couple of years, but, you know, as Saving Paradise, I'll throw a pun into it, you know, they deal with the corporate takeover. How do you feel about Netflix buying out the rights to the Chronicles of Narnia, remaking an instant classic that you were a part of, that you once started? I mean, the reason I ask, William, is aren't you, as an actor, sick and tired of, you know, major studio outlets recreating the same films over and over again? One of the prime examples I can think of right now is Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that's being remade on Peacock TV.
Point Break kind of got remade a little bit.
Yes,
sad
they're
one.
talking about The Bodyguard. I just heard last night, and they want
Bodyguard,
Lizzo and Chris Evans to do it. I mean, why keep recreating something that is so iconic? I mean, what are your thoughts?
You know, first of all, Chris, I'm going to have to touch you up on a little bit of your knowledge. They are not remaking the movies. They are making the fourth movie, which happens to be Prince Caspian, and that will be a standalone movie.
Hey, I think a lot of fans listening right now are going to be excited.
Are you going to be in it? Are you going to be in it?
My character's not in that book, sadly.
Well, can't you be like a voiceover of the lion or something?
Sure. If they offer me up, I will do any part in it. I'll be very happy. I'll be like one of the dwarves. I'll be
there we go. Perfect.
But you know, in terms of what I think it will be like on Netflix, you know, it's a funny thing because Netflix 10 years ago, I think, was just like in the post DVD company. You know, you just sort of like sent out a DVD and came back. And now, you know, I heard this guy, Bob Iger, who happens to be the chairman of Disney, saying, we got to catch up with Netflix. We've got to do something to catch up with these guys. And they really are a juggernaut. They really are like the number one, you know, like they are the top, because especially during a lockdown, you know, you think, what is there to do other than watch Netflix? So you know, everything has kind of changed. The whole world's changed. The whole ball game's changed, you know, and like even seeing Scorsese doing The Irishman on Netflix, you know, it's like, it's kind of an amazing time for TV. And my dad was like this the other day. He's like, well, why are people going to the cinemas when they've got these giant TVs at home anyway? You know what?
That's so true. And I know Peter Ramsey was like, I know Oh, sorry. Say that one more time. I was talking over.
How big is your TV, Chris? Tell me.
Oh, it's a 65-inch in my living room.
Okay. I have no TV. All I have is my little laptop, and I refuse to buy a TV. Like, I refuse.
Wait, you know what the weirdest part is about that? Like, when I watch Hulu, for example, I'm always watching on my smartphone. For some reason, it doesn't seem to bug me. I just like being in the comfort of my home, throw back a Budweiser, just lay back. I mean, I'm an easy guy, ladies, if you're listening.
Which means he's cheap, ladies. So, ladies, FYI, Chris and William are cheap. If you haven't caught on to the theme of our show, they'll stay at home and they're not going to buy you a car. Okay?
Hey, we're laid back, ladies. We're laid back.
Why need a car when we've got
laid back?
Yeah. Exactly. Right? Why need a car when you're at home? But William, we spoke briefly yesterday before the live show, and you told me your excitement working side by side with triple threat Mel Gibson, including Kevin Dillon, on a new thriller film called On the Line. I mean, we're kind of like in that film right now. It's about a radio talk show. Mel Gibson's playing a radio host, but I don't really know much other than that. So tell us about the film and what role you are playing in this piece.
Okay, so it's a multi-layered thriller where it's full of a lot of twists and turns. There's a lot of you know, reveals in the script. It's written by and directed by a French guy, so we shot it all in Paris, doubling it for California, which was kind of amazing how they did that. And then Mel plays I can call him Mel now that I've worked with him. Mel plays a like a radio talk show host that's what we would say in England, Larry. You know, he's uncensored. He's on at like 12 o'clock at night. He talks to people who like call in who've got problems, and he usually says the wrong thing to them, but it's funny. And you know, however, on one night somebody calls up and they have it out, and they have it in for him. They want to like ruin his life. And I play this new young producer that's just come in from London, and I kind of go on this adventure with him to like help him to uncover what's going on. And it's a very cool little movie. It's a very cool little film.
But real quickly though, because all of your fans need to know, will you be shirtless in that movie like you are in Saving Paradise? Because all I'm saying is, it was a nice surprise in Saving Paradise when all of a sudden you were going over your how to save the company in your underwear.
Let's go back to a serious question. I know we got less than a minute left, but William, I know that you were really excited to work with Mel Gibson.
We're curious.
I know that you were really excited to work with Mel Gibson. I know that like millennials, I don't know if they necessarily understand him other than they go, he said that he had that one crazy outburst, but I know that you're excited to work with him. And why is that so special to you and your career now?
Well, when I was younger, I used to skive off. When I wanted to skive off school, I just didn't really want to go to school. My mom was pretty cool. She was just like, you know, you don't have to go to school today. I think she knew I just didn't want to go. And I would just sit at home and I'd watch the Lethal Weapon movies. I just watched like 1, 2, and 3. And to me, they were just kind of this like escape into like America, into like these cars, this guy, you know, running around trying to stop these criminals. And to me, it was just the coolest thing. It was just like the quintessential.
You're working
Hollywood
with the
movie.
guy who did Braveheart.
I
mean, I find that is so groovy, William
Passion
Moseley.
of the Christ.
And I gotta say, the fact that you joined us from all the way from across the pond, I know it's 6 o'clock in your time and 10 a.m. on our end, and the fact that you joined us for the Chris Collins Millennial Talk Show means the world for Marissa and I can speak for her. So, we're beyond stoked, and we cannot wait to, everybody. Check out Saving Paradise. It's out now on VOD and all the streaming services. I believe Amazon right now. And William, thank you again for joining the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
Thank you so much. Take care, guys.
Thank you,
right,
ciao,
rock and
Bella.
roll. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, fam.
Thanks, guys. Thank
Peace.
you. Bye.
You know what's funny? I had to mention this. I just saw a comment from Fatima. She said, William, I want to do a tattoo using your handwriting because you are so important for me and it would mean a lot. So, hey, William, if you see her DM, she wants your
You should also tattoo him in his shirtless pose. Hey, Fatima. Hey.
But hey, we're starting to transition into the half-hour mark, which is strike a chord, where if you actually physically or digitally pick up that record, you're going to know these tracks. And we got the one and only Lili Joy. She is a singer-songwriter. She was a member of Team Blake on NBC's The Voice. Now she's 18 years old. She's returning to the Chris Collins Show. And now look at you. You are styling and profiling as always. Lili Joy, how's it going, fam?
Hi, it's going good. How are you?
We are fabulous. And before we begin, I want to remind the listening audience that we got a brand new podcast series out right now. It's called Off the Fret, featuring the Blowies as our inaugural guest. More music talk. Out now wherever you listen to podcasts. So, Lili, it's so good to see you. What have you been doing during this whole pandemic? Talk to me. What's going on, fam?
Oh my gosh, I've just been making a ton of music, just writing. If there's one good thing that's come out of all of this, it's just been time to create. And I've definitely taken advantage of that. I have 4 or 5 songs on deck just from this last year alone. So it's been a hard time, but it's also some good things have come out of it.
Yeah, so you just recently turned 18 years old, and as a young artist, how are you dealing with adversity during this crazy pandemic? Because obviously you missed out on prom, I'm assuming. You missed out on homecoming. Does that play a mental burden on you? Because I feel bad for you on a level. We've talked about this in the past, Marissa, about how a part of your childhood growing up as a young adolescent kind of went away like pixie dust. And how are you combating some of this today?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I feel like a lot of the people who are currently 18, I've talked to a few different people our age, and we all kind of said it felt like we went to bed one night and we were 16 and we woke up and we were 18, and all of a sudden we were expected to behave as adults when we basically lost those 2 years. It feels like no time has gone by. It feels like that we just woke up one day and it was oh, you're 18. Now
I had no idea you were 18, honestly, and I follow you, right? And I was I hit up your manager. I'm like, hey, I don't know if Lili can sign our contract because she's not 18. She's she's 18. I'm like, that's how much I lost your year too. I was like, oh my God, she graduated high school. That's right. She's
Lili, that is such an interesting comment. You say, you go to sleep, you're 16, and then you wake up and then you turn 18. I used to joke with my producer, during our 2-week hiatus that I feel with the return of live music, globally, it's slowly starting to sparse out, but I feel a teenage angst coming when it comes to live events. Do you agree or disagree?
Oh, definitely. I feel like it's I feel like it's definitely going to be a way to get everything out for us. A lot of us just feel like really confused right now, and I feel like it's having like music back in like full swing and having, you know, live events back in full swing. Like I'm going to my first concert next week and I'm super excited. Like it definitely makes a difference. I feel like.
Who are you seeing? Who are you seeing? It's your first concert. Who are you seeing?
I'm still Woozy.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
So obviously, since you're going to concerts next week, you aren't skeptical about the return of live music. So if someone were to hit you up right now and would say like, "Hey, you're gonna go play at the Wiltern tonight," you would just grab your gear and just go. You don't care. I mean,
definitely. I'm fully vaccinated, so I feel like a little bit more comfortable about it. So it's a little easier.
How do you feel about some of the people today? Like I know the comedian Jim Bauer, he's coming out and he's saying that he's not going to perform at any venue who requires a vaccine, you know, card to be in place. I mean, would you be that kind of individual who would only play at, you know, vaccine card venues, or would you just be kind of free willing it and kind of see how it goes?
I mean, it depends. I think that I would prefer for people to be vaccinated, but I've seen some venues that do like a vaccination card or a COVID test. I think that's pretty good too.
Yeah, because all I can say is you and I, we both live in SoCal. I mean, it's coming. I mean, when they tell you you can't go to the bar without your Vax card, I mean, expect to see it in the live events. But you know what? We wanted to leave enough time to be able to play at least a music video right now. I mean, we love this one. Also, a Cal State alum actually shot this music video. Marissa, you know the gentleman's name. I'm having a brain fart right now.
Moses Israel.
Exactly. Moses is a phenomenal individual. You were a lucky cat, Lili, joy to be working with him because we love the music video, and you will too, CCS family. This is Lili Joy, and this is her track, Float, live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
I can see all the cracks in your concrete. To me they look pretty neat. Rainbow colors you just can't see. Clyde and Bonnie of 2002. Think of all the things we could do. We could do. I wish you could see what I see in you. 'Cause baby, it's true. When I to you. Run it till we reach the stars. We don't have to go too far. Oh. cracks in your concrete. To me they look pretty neat. Rainbow colors you just can't see.
Yeah, that's what's good. That is Lili Joy, and that is her music video, Float. And I want to remind the listening audience that you're listening to Strike a Chord, where if you physically or digitally pick up those records, you're going to know these tracks. And Lili Joy, we're stoked to be able to play one of your brand new singles up next. It's called Dandelion. And I have to say, you sound like you've been singing for a long time, because to me, your vocal tones on this new single are projected as if you're like an old soul singer, if that makes any sense to you. What does Dandelion mean to you?
So Dandelion was definitely a song about growing up. I wrote this one during the beginning of the pandemic. And it was just like getting mixed signals about growing up and what you should do, what you should be like, and just trying to push through all that, I guess. Yeah.
But what about like in an artist perspective? Like what would you say to young up and coming artists that put their focus on music during these times of, let's say, uncertainty?
I would say just keep your head down and just keep making things. Like, as much as it feels like hopeless, like it can feel hopeless sometimes. It really can. It feels sometimes like you're talking into a void, and like I totally get it. But like if you just keep pushing forward and just keep putting it out, whatever you have, just put it out. Like I think you're gonna feel so much better, and you'll see things moving for you.
Absolutely. And I know the opening lyric to Dandelion, you sing the following: time keeps on moving, but I just can't get it right. It comes in strides, signs, they keep asking where I'm going. I stand by for the ride. It's like you're coming across as a free bird, you know, kind of going with the flow no matter what obstacles are in your ways. But if more millennials, including your generation, Gen Z, lived by this mindset, do you believe the world would be a happier place, or is it different for everybody?
I think so. And I wrote this song saying that thing, like just keep, going with the flow. Like obviously that's how I wrote it, but like even I have trouble with trying to plan my whole future out, and like I feel like it can be either way. Like you can try to plan things out, but ultimately you just got to take things as they come to you and just just go with the flow and don't think too much.
Okay, and while you've been in the pandemic, you've been just letting things come to you as it goes. So what are some of those things? I mean, have you done like a hobby that you're like, oh my gosh, I would have never done this, but now that the pandemic has got me stopped on my ass, doing nothing, just being stayed put at home. Has there been anything that you picked up that you're doing now?
Yeah, I think
Sorry, I'm trying to record Zoom.
Yeah,
Go ahead and do it again.
Okay.
I got like a thing talking about you.
It's their new feature. They're like,
That's all good.
now you are recording. Now you are not recording. Sorry, I hate Zoom. Continue.
No, it's okay. No, one of the things I started embroidering, like hand embroidering at the beginning of the pandemic. And that was
you are an old soul. Go on.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just like there's something about it that was just like so fun, and it came really natural. So I was just like, okay. And then like I think I would say that I started cooking a little bit more. Because we were just home so much. And then obviously I stuck with my old hobbies, just like writing and stuff like that. But yeah.
Well, you know what? I stepped up in my cooking, as I like to say, I know how to put a minute 30 on my hot pocket. So if you want to invite me out to a cookout anytime soon, Chris Collins is there all the way. But you know what, Marissa and I, we're beyond stoked that you gave us the brand new single to be able to play live on the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show. So here's Lili Joy, her brand new single, Dandelion.
It comes in stride.
Yeah, that's what's good. That is Lili Joy, and that's her brand new single, Dandelion, out now wherever you listen to music at. But hey, this is Strike a Chord, where if you physically or digitally pick up that record, you're going to know these tracks. And we got the one and only, the fabulous Lili Joy with us. Whoa, whoa, whoa. But you know what? This summer, you recorded a live rendition of Patsy Cline's iconic track, Crazy, which I don't see or hear too many Gen Z artists recording early 1960s classics as covers. So why this song?
This honestly, because all of my music is so inspired by the 60s and the 50s and the 40s. Like that was like what I grew up on, like as far as like when I was like developing as an artist. So I really wanted to showcase one of the songs that I like really enjoy, and I just wanted to do my own little rendition.
But why did Crazy resonate with you, and what does crazy mean? You know, like in your world.
It's a sassy song. Like I really think it's just about like, I was so dumb to fall for you. I was so crazy to fall in love with you. And it's just like, it's really just being like, wow. I don't know. I like it. It's almost like, it's very inadvertently like, almost, I don't want to say feminist, but kind of feminist in the fact where like, she's like, wow, I was so dumb. And I really think that's
what do you say to people who, and this is like older people who say this, that say you're too young to really grasp what the crazy in love and what all that, you know, entails in this song?
I don't think that it's an age thing. I feel like every age has had situations like this where they've fallen for somebody and it just was like, wow, I was definitely blindsided by my feelings. And I don't even think it has to be romantic. I think it could be any type of relationship where you're putting in too much effort. So I don't think you have to be a certain age to understand that, for sure.
Interesting. Okay. I usually like to break it down by like the 6-month period. You know, you date for 6 months, it's all cute and all that kind of shit. And then all of a sudden, once we make that 6-month mark, it's like, do I really want to go another 6 months? Because then it's going to be a year. And then that's kind of crazy wild love that I would assume Marissa's talking about. But I did want to.
No, I'm talking about the crazy love where it's like, I need to get a gun and maybe shoot you because you are a jerk. And you took all of my feelings and you took everything and you crushed me and I gave you 1,000 and you gave me -10.
Is that what you were thinking, Lili Joy, when she brought that up? I don't know. But
yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe you lady.
I think, Chris, you have never experienced
This is why I'm not dating
Lili
any
Joy
women
has,
anytime soon.
I have, not Chris.
But I have to say, I thought it was a really interesting choice that you chose Crazy by Patsy Cline, because back in the day when she wrote that song, I don't know if you know this, Lili Joy, but she was kind of known as like a country artist that kind of delved into what we now know as the pop world. Was that some of the influence of why you chose that track?
Not necessarily, but I do love old country music, so that also was a part of it. But I do admire her as an artist for sure, like her ability to be versatile in that type of way.
And all I can say is, if Patsy Cline was still with us, I think she would be beyond blessed to hear this rendition of Crazy. And why don't we just let the CCS family know what's good? This is Lili Joy. Check it out now. This is Crazy by Patsy Cline.
All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy for feeling so blue. I know you'd love me as long as you want it. Then someday
That's what's good. That is Lili Joy, and that's her cover of Crazy by Patsy Cline. And, it would be such a disservice for me not to mention this during the last minute, but, we obviously love your natural hair. Your natural hair is beautiful. But have you ditched the iconic look that you used to rock 2 years ago? Is there no more wig in the future for Lili Joy?
Yeah, I think at the moment, the wigs definitely took a break. I think that, I still love doing fun things like that, but I feel like it's like a on an occasion basis.
I think the occasion is when we get out of this crazy pandemic. I mean, we might actually see that alter ego come out one more time. Possibly. we'll see what's up. But Lili Joy, you are phenomenal. We're beyond stoked to have you return to the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show, especially for a season 10. And I have to say, you have been on the most out of all Strike a Chord artists, and that's how much Marissa and I love you, fam. And much success.
She's amazing. She's an amazing singer, an actor, a human.
Exactly.
Like, you're just all that in a bag of chips.
And you've supported us since day one, always showing up to the studio when we actually used to be physically in person, and we miss you, fam. And one day, hopefully, I can give you one big high five. But thanks again for joining the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show.
Ciao, Bella. See you later.
Peace. All right, this is What's Good, where, you go on channels 2 through 11. There is so much negativity, and Marissa and I, we like to shake things up and show you what's good. So for the first time on Wednesday night, SpaceX launched its first all-civilian flight, the farthest any civilian has traveled from Earth. So commanding the mission is a 38-year-old billionaire named Jared Isaacman, an experienced pilot, but not necessarily trained, as an astronaut. But that's still the crazy part, right? And also on board, 29-year-old St. Jude ambassador Haley Arsenault, a bone cancer survivor and the first pediatric cancer survivor who will become the youngest American to go to space, which is very, very cool. And also, Isaacman wants this launch to benefit St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital and has already donated $100 million to the cause. If we have the clip, Marissa, let's play it.
2, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff for St. Jude. Go Dragons. Go Falcons. Godspeed Inspiration 4.
Copy, 1 Alpha.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Callouts indicate nominal. Historic mission flying the Inspiration 4 crew. Onboard Dragon and Falcon 9. Okay, we heard the call out. MVAC-D is chilling. We're beginning to get the turbo pump ready on the second stage engine for ignition. We're passing through 3G's acceleration. Everything continues to look nominal.
Yeah, that looks beyond terrifying. I don't know if I would want to ride in a spaceship that looks like a flaming ball, but obviously Marissa does. But before we let Marissa chime in, I did want to mention that I really think, as much as this billionaire is operating this ship, I found it really cool that he donated $100 million to the cause, and I would like for the CCS family to do so as well. So if you'd like to donate, go to stjudes.org and click the Donate Now button on the top right corner of their page. You cannot miss it. So, Marissa, obviously, you have no problem flying in this flying ball of red. But you know what the funny part is? It's like, they're saying with this move that they're hoping to have more space flights in the future. I just don't know whether they realize that the people here on Earth are kind of okay with commercial flight.
No, I disagree with you. I think that you think too small. And I am all about more space flights getting to the moon.
But isn't that smaller? Well, that's not necessarily going to the moon, though, Marissa.
I don't care, but it's a step towards it. You got to think large picture, Chris. Large picture. How do you get those steps there? And more SpaceX, more just civilians jumping in, make it affordable, because my broke butt can't afford that. And once they do, I'll be happy.
You know what? I gotta throw some wild facts in for you, Marissa. I didn't know if you knew this, but I didn't know until yesterday. But ABC News reports that this SpaceX Crew Dragon will be tested for the first time at this distance. Like, that is the most insane thing I've ever heard. And they cannot go much longer than 3 days without running low on fuel, food, and water. So there's, hopefully we have great weather when they touch down, because if they have to kind of delay this is going to be trouble. But you know what? This is what's good, and we hope for good things in the future. This is really cool, and I'm with Marissa. We hope for much success. But we also want to give a huge shout out to our amazing guest joining us for our season 10 opener of the Chris Collins Show Millennial Talk Show. That is William Moseley. He is the actor in his latest film, Saving Paradise, out now on VOD and Amazon today. And also Lili Joy. She is a phenomenal singer-songwriter, and we're just so blessed to have her return to our show.
And who is next week's guest?
Yeah, we're excited for this one because Strike a Chord artist Astoria State, an American rock band that is making huge waves in the music scene, will be joining us next week. And also, I keep hampering this because it's really that good. Check out our brand new podcast series, Off the Fret, featuring the Blowies as our inaugural guest. More music talk. Marissa and I go through every single track. And I don't know if you guys ever heard a music podcast that actually plays the music in full. Well, we do that, and you're going to be in for a treat. And if you like what you're listening to, go to thechriscollinsshow.com and become a member today and get that free CCS t-shirt. For now, enjoy the weekend, fam. And we're so stoked to be back. See you next week. Peace. The Chris Collins Show presents Music Storm 2021, hosted by Chris Collins and Marissa Pitts, featuring Tiana Kutcher, Some Daggers Wear Red, Desmond Walker, Doulos, Saturn Till June, YT Will,
it feels good to be the bad guy. Walk these shoes, you'll see why. Look at things from both sides, ain't nothing like the
EC Main,
one thug, Lord, show a little mercy on one thug.
The Phoenix Within,
There's more weight in my words than you give me.
Chloe Wilder, Jonas and I, Kane, and Animal Sun.
So tell me, how do you see reasons to carry on?
Music Storm 2021, available on YouTube Live. Peace. Our brand new podcast, Off the Fret.
I love it. It's more time to chat.
Hello.
You would look
Can you
so
hear me?
jazzy.
I love your outfit.
How far would you go to start playing live music again?
This slaps harder than my ex when she got her stimulus check. So, are you here to bring the sexual healing with your music? Called Everything is Everything, and I guarantee you're going to hear this song in the future. I love the flow, man. Politically charged album. So, if you get easily offended, this might not be the album for you. Brand new podcast, Off the Fret.
So excited.
Has Kim Kardashian accidentally sent you a coochie shot?
Do you want to stay there? It's completely your choice. Or you want to...
I feel you. And you know what I love? Off the Fret. More music talk. Peace.